Okay, very good afternoon to all, and this is Sonia Singh in front of you. Very warm welcome everyone on our channel Exam for IAS English Medium. I hope my voice is completely audible and visible, everyone. Kindly inform me that are you getting my voice and the screen is completely visible or not. Okay. So from my side, from my end, everything is clear. My audio and video as well. So a very warm welcome everyone on our channel, and today's session is completely based on industrial revolution. And earlier I already done and tried to mention everything about industrial revolution, the Indian industrial revolution, as well as the industrial development in the European context, right, in the 19th century. How the industries are playing a very important role in our Indian economy, and how Indian industrial revolution completely mold the economic perspective of the India, right? So I already mentioned both the concepts, so I hope this is already clear to everyone. Very good afternoon. So in this context, or in this session, I'll try to mention industrial revolution in a very broad sense. You can ask me if you have any doubt, if you have any question. Definitely you can put it your comments in the comment box, but I'll try to mention everything today's session industrial revolution as per as the Indian context and as well as the European context, right? Industrial revolution is completely a very we can say the developing era, where 19th and mid of the 18th century or the 19th century, where Renaissance period is completely impacted industrial revolution. And industrial revolution is not important because everyone is just looking for the employment, and everyone is just looking for the development. Industrial revolution is somehow important because there are numbers of the factors, there are numbers of the causes, there is a numbers of the reasons behind it. So today's session I'll try to clarify the reasons, the factors, and the causes and the consequences behind the industrial revolution. And on the another way, we will try to understand how industrial revolution, the European industrial revolution, completely impacted the industrial revolution of India, and how due to the industrial revolution in the European context, how it is completely impacted the railway industry in India, and why the industrial revolution is become later on a big need of the British crown. Later on they started to introducing numbers of the railways, numbers of the industries, numbers of the small scale industries in India basically. And we will try to understand, we will try to explain, and we will try to know the writing context, the approach and the introduction, the mid body and the conclusion later on. Fine. So let's begin the session, everyone. I hope this slide is completely visible to everyone. Okay. See, whenever you discuss about the industrial revolution, the question is basically asked. You can see on the screen, everyone. Is the screen is completely visible, everyone? See, the industrial revolution, and it is very important to understand both the terminology, the industrial and the revolution. Why we are somehow considering industries or industrial, the development of the industries known as a revolution. That why we are using the word is revolution, and what is the importance of the revolution basically in the context of the industries. Fine. And was not only a technology, it is not only technological and the revolution, but the social economic revolution and the changed way of people living afterwards. Definitely industries is not only basic the part of the business कि भाई आपने यहाँ पे चीज़ों को introduce किया ना, things are gonna be start in the same pace. Industrial revolution definitely impacted the technological revolution as well as the social and the economic, right? And it is completely changed the way of living of the people afterwards. Fine. And how it is impacted, what is the meaning of the revolution, how the industries work exactly, and what is the economic revolution, how the industrial revolution completely impacted the economic revolution, and how industrial revolution completely impacted the daily life of the people, and how the industrial revolution completely uplifted the social life of the people, living in the European countries or living in the Indian in our India, right? So it is very important to understand the context in both the way, European context as well as the Indian context, right? Fine, you can see the map on the screen, everyone. I hope this slide is completely relevant to everyone, where we are going to understand how the Industrial Revolution completely separated later on, and how Industrial Revolution slowly move through one country to another country, and how the basic era of Industrial Revolution, like 18th century or mid of the beginning of the 19th century or mid of the 19th century, how it is completely impacted, right? So it is very important to understand everything. So let's begin the session, everyone. You can see the three terminologies are there: the 1840s, right, the 1850s and 1860s, right? 1840s or 1850s or 1860s is completely considered the era of 19th centuries, where the 19th century is somehow completely known as the Industrial Revolution, right? Whenever we discuss about the peak time of the Industrial Revolution, where the Industrial Revolution completely boom out, it is completely the era of the 19th century or the mid of the 19th century, mid of the 19th century. You can see in the European context how Industrial Revolution completely separate, and the development of the Industrial Revolution completely impacted the social, the economic, right? Revolution completely impacted the basic living life of the people. The 1840s, 1850s, 1860s, 1870s, and later on 1880s, right? So you can see the complete era of 40 years, the decade, or complete decade to decade, 1840, 1850, 1860. It was the time phase of the complete 40 years where the Industrial Revolution completely separated in the European countries, right? You can see the dark line on the map where it is completely separated from 1840, 1850. This is 1860, and later on slowly it is completely separated, the Industrial Revolution, till 1870s. Fine. Now, okay, you can see the another map on the screen, right? And in this map we have a numbers of the names of the European context, European countries, right? In these European countries we have numerous of the countries where Industrial Revolution separated slowly, right? We already discussed about the time phase of the 1840s to 1880s, right? Means we have a total 40 years. 40 years of the time period where Industrial Revolution completely separated, right? Separated means what? It is completely not separated but also impacted. And how it is impacted completely? The social life of the people, the economic life of the people, and the living standard of the people, where the people are looking for their standardization, the living basic needs of their own life, like clothes, shelters, and food as well. And you can see on the screen, everyone, this is the industrial area. This is the weak industrialization area. This is the light shaded green color, which is showing the industrialized by later, and this is the mid 18th centuries, and this is the cradle of the Industrial Revolution, where the Industrial Revolution is completely in the phase of the beginning era. Fine. So this is the whole map. You can easily see on the map. This is orangish part of the map. Let me draw the white line. I'm talking about this phase of the complete era, the France and the Germany. This is the time phase of the where industrialization completely in the time phase in the booming era, where Industrial Revolution and the phases of the Industrial Revolution completely in the developing phase. This is almost about 18th century, or this is almost about the 18 to 1850s era. This is 1850s. Okay. So you can see numbers of the area where industrial areas are completely flourish. This is Belgium, ठीक है, Lux, Bohemia, and Upper Indonesia, the Netherlands and the Germany. These are the prominent phase of the Industrial Revolution where numbers of the developments are already occurring on. Fine. Okay, in this session we are just going to discuss about the approaches, that how the question of the approach is completely separated. Let me discuss the question first. Let me discuss the question first, right? The question is completely asked about the Industrial Revolution. Right? Industrial Revolution in what context? In the European context. In the European context. Fine. So in the Industrial Revolution, the European context, it was the time of 1800 to 1840s. Means it was the complete time phase of the, moreover, a half of the centuries. A half of the centuries means almost the 40 year. If I'll try to round figure, it is almost the time phase of the 50 years. Fine. Now, Industrial Revolution, how it is completely impacted. So we are going to discuss about 3 or 4 dimensions of the Industrial Revolution. The dimension is completely related with social, the economic, the standard living of the people, we can say the basic needs. How Industrial Revolution completely impacted the trading class. Trading class is basically related with our commercial class, where trade and money is prominent. Where trade and money is prominent. Where trade and money is prominent. Fine. Ankit Rajji, our paid course is going to be started as soon as possible, right? Fine. Now, the social life means how the people is completely uplifted themselves socially, right? Social means what? When we are looking for the social equality, and how the basic equality occurred actually when we are looking for our basic needs, the shelter, food and the cloth. Fine. How the economic upliftment, when the economy where we can completely earning our basic day life. It means we are looking for the survival, and how the survival is completely implemented. When survival is completely implemented, if we are liable to earning our basic needs. Means if you are looking for expenditure of 100 rupees per day, so definitely it is must to at least earn more over 70 to 80 rupees per day. Fine. So how the economic upliftment is was finally going on with the help of Industrial Revolution, when the people are completely engaged themselves for looking for the employment. When we have a small scale industries, when we have a large scale industries, when we are looking for technological skills, when we are looking for the basic learning skills. Fine. Basic needs, I already mentioned you about the clothes, the shelter and the food and the trading class. In the 19th century, it was a time phase in the European context when we are also looking for the depression period. And how the depression period is seriously coming on. See, if I'm talking about the whole European context from 11th century till the 19th of the century, we have number of the development. The developments are seriously going on. The developments are exactly going on the basis of the upliftment of the technological enhancement, the upliftment in the education, the upliftment in the industries, the upliftment in the trades, the upliftment in the commerce. So definitely we have already the peak time of Industrial Revolution more over 40 years. So definitely if we have an era, there is almost a peak time, definitely the declining phase is definitely coming on later on. So this is all about the depression period. When we have a inflation period, when the inflation period is completely increasing and the development of the people is completely decreasing. So there is a differentiation between the peak time of the 40 years when we have a social needs, when we have a fulfillments of the social needs, the economic needs, the basic needs and the after 40 years, the time phase of 1920s or 1930, it was the time phase in the European countries when the depression period was introducing, just because of the hike in the inflation rate, when the common people are not liable to fulfill their own basic needs. Fine. So let's move ahead. I would like to mention one more point which is very crucial, and I can say it is very initial understanding for the Industrial Revolution. Industrial Revolution is not only impacted in the 19th century. Industrial Revolution is not only impacted in the 19th century. We have numbers of the era in the 19th century. It is numerous of the time phase. We have numerous of the periods, like 19th century, where almost the 1970s, where the Russian Revolution is happened actually. It was the phase of the 19th century when we have almost the World War I and the World War II is about to start by 1914 and 1935. I know this was the time phase is completely considered as a 20th century, but why I'm considering as a 19th century? Because somehow Industrial Revolution is completely impacted the World War, because World War was not the time phase we are just looking for the war कि भाई हम उठे और लड़ने के लिए चले गए, ऐसा नहीं है. वर्ल्ड वॉर इज बेसिकली कंप्लीटली डिपेंडेंट ऑन द टेक्नोलॉजिकल एनहांसमेंट एज वेल एज द एनहांसमेंट इन द वेपन्स, and how we are successful to make the weapons when we are completely looking for the machineries in the Industrial Revolution, where numbers of the women and the men completely devoting themselves to enhancing or to fulfillment the demands of the people in the World War I, or and as well as the basic needs of the people. Fine. In the 19th century, and in the Indian context, how it is completely and how the in the Indian context, how the Industrial Revolution impacted. When we have a very good example of 1853, when Britishers are looking for the introduction of the railways, when they are introducing the railway from Thane to Mumbai. And what is the need to introducing the railways? Because somehow when the Britishers are completely making India as their own colony, definitely they want to get more and more benefits. And how the benefits are coming on with Indian industries when they are completely launching the railways, where railways completely fulfill the needs of the British people, we can say the British Crown as well. Okay, so this is the practice of the answer writing. Let me discuss about the approach first of all, that what we are going to discuss in the when we are going to discuss in the approaches. One more thing, when we use the word revolution, it is very important to understand the meaning of revolution, and it is very important to understand the meaning of the industrialization, right? Say industrialization is basically the word where we are looking for the enhancement and the development of the industries, the enhancement and the developments of the machineries, the enhancement and the developments of the skilled labor. Fine. And why we are looking for the industries? Because we are somehow looking the economic benefit, the economic upliftment, the economic development. And how the revolution is occurring actually, and what is the meaning of the revolution? We have a numbers of the revolution in the European context. We can say we have a revolution like 1789, the American Revolution, 1917, we have a Russian Revolution. So we have a numbers of the revolution. So what is the meaning of the revolution? It is very important to understand that when we have a something is existing society, जब हमारे पास पहले के से ही कुछ है हमारे पास, that we have a strata, we have already a system, and we want to improve the system, because the common people of the society or the people like us who are surviving, they are not completely satisfied with which is already existing society. Fine. So this is all about the revolution. When we have existing society and we are not satisfied with the society, that's why we want to re-evaluate the society. And how we will re-evaluate? When we started to introducing, when we started to reawakening, when we started to awareing the people of the existing system, that what is going on in the society is not up to the mark, and it is not favoring the people and not favoring the people who are looking for the development in the society. Fine. So how it is working actually? If we are talking about the approaches, how the approaches is working in the industrial revolution. Okay, Sunera Moti, see, language is definitely playing a very important role in the UPSC prelims, and but somehow I'm totally agree that languages are nowhere a barrier. If you are perfect in the Hindi, definitely you can go ahead in the Hindi language. If you feel that you are imperfect in English languages, so you can go ahead with the English. There's no problem at all. Understanding is a matter a lot actually. Now, approaches, how the industrial revolution is working and how industrial revolution completely impacted the social and the economic life of the people. So introduction by writing what is meant by the industrial revolution. It is very important to understand while starting the answer writing of the question, that you have to mention that what you exactly understand with the meaning of the industrial revolution. And meaning means what? Meaning is means we are going to discuss about everything, right? The first meaning in approaches we are going to discuss in approach of the question. Right, in approach of the question we are going to introduce first of all the meaning. Fine. Number 2, we are going to discuss about the need. We are going to discuss about the reason. We are discuss about the objectives. It is very important to discuss about the aim, right? And it is very important to discuss about the output. Output you can say, the conclusion you can say, and it is very important to discuss about the existing society. Meaning means what? What we are going to discuss in the meaning. We are going to discuss about the meaning. We are discussing about the industrial revolution, right? So it is very important to discuss about the meaning of the industrial revolution. So what is the meaning of the industrial revolution? Industrial revolution is basically, industries are basically the another definition of the economic development. When we are looking of the skilled machineries, the labors, and the skill developments of the labors. Fine. And revolution means what? Then we have already existing society. Whatever is existing in our society, if we are not completely satisfied with the society, definitely it is important to re-evaluate anything. It is important to reform. And how you will reform? How you will reform yourself? You are completely reform yourself when we start to awareing the people, the awareness, the reawakening, right? Now, the need. Need means what? We are looking for the economic development, the enhancement in the economic development. What is the reason? Because it is very important to fulfill the basic needs of the people, the clothes, the shelter, and the food, right? Now, the objectives. In the objectives and the aim, definitely we can correlate both the points, because somewhere objectives and aim fulfilling the same path of the industrial revolution. Objectives means what? We are actually looking for the industrial revolution because somehow we want to develop our society. We want to create the employment in the society. We want to develop the skilled labor in the society. Fine. And what is the aim exactly? We need a consistent development in the society, and how the consistency will completely occurring in the society. The consistency is completely occurring in the society if we are focusing on the economic development. And how the economic development is coming on? The economic development is not basically dependent on the basic fulfill needs of the basic needs. Definitely industrial revolution is somehow a very big project for industrial revolution, in the European context. So what is the aim of the industrial revolution? Because we want to completely fulfill the needs of the society in the consistent way. Okay. ऐसा नहीं है कि आपने 90 ईयर्स तक काम किया और उसके बाद 10 से 20 सालों तक इफ यू आर स्टिल लुकिंग कि भाई आप डेवलपमेंट का क्या करें, ठीक है. इफ यू आर स्टार्ट टू launching the industries in the society, definitely it will be enhanced slowly, or it will be enhanced day after day, because we are already taking more over 40 years to developing of all the industries, and we are looking the people who are completely feeling skilled to operate all the machineries which are developing in the industrial revolutions, on the time of industrial revolutions. Fine. What is the output and the conclusion of the industrial revolution? Conclusion, or we can say the we cannot completely achieve a one line conclusion of the industrial revolution, that we developing the machineries, we are developing the labors, we are developing the skilled labors, we are already fulfilling the needs, so that's why we are come out on the conclusion. No, industrial revolution is somehow is completely fulfilling the consistent development in the society. And how the consistent development coming in the society? When you started to improving the machineries and the labors day to day life, in your day to day life. Fine. The second point, they are discussing about the revolution and the technology. Revolution, that I already told you that a revolution is basically is happening when we are not completely satisfied with the existing society. And technology is must for the operating the machineries. Technology is somehow not helping us to developing the society or developing in the industrial revolution. Technology somehow is the need of the basic need of the society, need of the modern India, or we can say the need of the modern world. Because in the European countries we are introducing the scientific revolution in 16th century, because we are already introducing scientific revolution in 16th century, and after 16th century of scientific revolution we are looking the machineries, and we are looking in the enhancement of the technology, and how the enhancement and that and how the enhancement of the technology is coming on. The enhancement of the technology is completely implemented if we are taking some of the benefits of the industrial revolution. And with the industrial revolution, definitely we will work on the economic development or economic upliftment. Fine. Explain the various social and economic changes that took place during that time. Economic, social means what? That seriously we want to completely, exactly we really want to fulfill our social equality and basic needs. And economic development is somehow is completely based on the upliftment of the trading class and the commercial class. Now, this is the all the slides which I already completely tried to explain everything. So let me discuss about the industrial revolution. Industrial revolution impacted the agriculture, the production, the transportation, and the communication. Agriculture means what? But then we are looking for the raw material completely reaching till the end of the industries, and industries somehow making the raw materials in the final goods. Production means what? When we are looking for the surplus production. If we have a surplus production, definitely we can export or import all the surplus production, and definitely we can achieve more benefits with the production. Transportation and communication, then I already explained you that we have a very good example of transportation. Like East India companies already started to uplifting the Indian Railway in 1853. Fine. And goods were produced faster, became cheaper, and could be shipped from place to place quicker than ever before. Why we are going to happen? Actually, because we have already the introducing of the railways. We have a railways which is introducing in 1853 to Bombay to Thane. Bombay to Thane. Fine. And Richard Arkwright was known as the father of the modern factory system, and Richard created world's first water powered mill at Cromford, where he empowered more than 200 people because of this. And father of the modern industrial revolution, factory system. This is important point, and you can mention also in your answer writing practices that Richard Arkwright was also known as the father of modern factory, and he was the first person who introducing the industry system. See, when we are talking about the factory system, it means when we are looking the labors, when we are looking the skill machineries, and the place that we can finally set up industries where we can learn, where we can get many of the things, that skilled labor, the learning pace of the people, and how the learning pace of the people completely put it their own 100% to learning all these things. Industrial revolution, which is happens completely in 1750 to 1900. But if I'm talking about the peak time of the industrial revolution, it was almost 1800 to 1840s. So this was the peak time of the industrial revolution, right? And in this slide we are going to discuss about the factors, we are discuss about the needs, we are discussing about the aim, and we are discussing about the objectives, right? The industrial revolution is completely focusing on the enlightenment. Enlightenment means what? When we discussing about the awareness, when we discussing about the awareness. सुनहरा मोती कौन सा सब्जेक्ट preferred to select as optional? Mr. Sunehra Moti, see, it is totally depend on it is completely up to you whatever the subject you want to take for your optional. Fine. 9. Now, industrial revolution is completely dependent on the scientific, or we can say the scientific revolution, which is completely happened in 16th century in the European context. Migration of the cities. Why we are migrated? We are migrated for looking for our economic basic needs, fulfilling our economic basic needs. So that's the people started to migrating from Africa to America and America to Africa. Fine. Utilitarianism means when we are looking for the trade, when we are looking for the commerce. These are obviously the main important basic points of the industrial revolution. Low farm wages when we are looking for skilled labor, and employed labor when we are starting, when we are giving the some low wages to the labor for fulfilling our industry's needs. Demands of the products. Demands of the products, in which demands of the products we are using three of the important dimension: the agriculture, the surplus production, and the basic needs, right? Demands of the products when we are looking for the final raw material, when the raw material is completely ready for export and import. Fine. Now mechanization. Industrial revolution somehow playing a very important role to making the labor more skilled. Fine. Let me complete this slide. See, industrial revolution somehow impacted in what context? Impacted in the progress of the people of whom? The European countries people, we can say. Why? Because industrial revolution is also the another definition in the industrial revolution in India. So this industrial revolution is completely based on the European countries. Fine. Industrial revolution is completely based on the agriculture. Why agriculture? Because from agriculture it is very easy to get the raw material. Fine. Later on, with the reach of the raw material, definitely it will be later on completed, we can say converted in the export plus import. To whom we are going to export or import the raw material or the final goods? When the final goods is completely converted in the, when the raw material is completely converted in the final goods. To whom we are exporting? France, right? America, Belgium. Fine. These are the main three prominent countries where we are looking for the export or import, and Africa. On another hand, what we needed actually, we are looking for the labor from African countries. If we have a good labor, if we have a good agriculture, definitely we are looking the labor who are completely skilled, the skilled labor. Fine. I hope my this is completely clear to everyone. See, skilled labor is completely participating to enhancing the main production, or we can say the surplus production. Fine. The surplus production means the high production, or we can say the peak production of anything. If we have a good production, we have a good economy. If we have a good economy, definitely we are completely liable to fulfill our basic needs. And what are your basic needs? What are your basic needs? Kindly comment your queries and questions in the comment box, everyone. If I am asking any question, it doesn't mean that blindly I am doing anything on the board. It is completely, it's your duty, if it's your people's duty, that how you can participate in the lecture. It is based on how the economic development if we are fulfilling our basic needs are somehow very important and crucial participation in the social equality or the social benefits or the developments. Fine. Somehow industrial revolution playing a very important role in the trade, in the commerce. And who are doing the trade? The people who are living in the society and who are going to participate in the people are living in the society. Fine. If we have a very good developing society, if we have a very good trade and commerce, definitely we have a good export, we have a good import. That's why commerce is somehow become the part of the commercial revolution. Become the part of a commercial revolution. Commercial revolution in what? In mid of the 20th century, when the depression period is going to be over. Causes of the industrial revolution. The first cause of the industrial revolution is what? Cause of the industrial revolution. The cause, we can say the reason. The first cause, collectively there were many major factors that contributed to industrial revolution. Right? We have a major factors. We have a important factors. And what are the important factors? What are the important factors? When we looking to urge, when we really want to increase the quality of the product, right? And why you are looking for enhancing the quality of the product? To enhancing more trade and commerce. Fine. The first point is quality or increasing the quality, right? The second point, it is very important, that advancement in the technological features. Number 2. The cause of the industrial revolution, third factor, which is very important, it is all about the dependency on the technology. Number 1. And you cannot imagine industrial revolution or the industries or the machineries without dependency of the technology. Now, the impact of the education. How the impact of the education? The more you are using the technology, the more you are looking for your education, the more you are looking for the skill developments, or the more you are looking for the awakening or the enhancement to learn more and more, right? So if you are completely liable to fulfill your social needs means what? Your clothes, your shelter, and your food. Means you have almost the earning proposals that you can fulfill your needs. So rest of the money, definitely you are investing in the education. And how the education is playing important role in the industries? When you start to make yourself more skilled, right? Protestant Reformation is somehow a religious reformation completely related with the Christianity, where Protestant Reformation were not completely accepted. They were not completely accepted the diplomacy, or we can say that the diplomat behavior of the Catholic Church. They were completely boycotted the Catholic Church, we can say the diplomacy, and they started to focusing on their own development. They started to focusing to not paying of the taxation of the society. And Protestant Reformation is somehow completely related with the reformations of the religious context, where there somehow they are trying to showing the religion is completely a secular ideology, where they are completely fulfilling or acceptance of the secularization with their own choice. Fine. Results of the Industrial Revolution. What are the results? We can say the results, we can say the output, we can say the conclusion, somehow we can say the aim as well. Fine. So what is the economic changes? What are the political changes? What are the social changes? Industrial Revolution is not completely impacted with one factors. We have numbers of the factors. These are the economic, political, social, as well as the cultural, the religious, and as the individual persons as well. Why? Because Industrial Revolution somehow making the individualization of the people, where they are where they at least try to make their selves more skilled and more focusing on the developments of the society. How the economic is helping? Expansion of the world trade. When we have a maximum terminologies like the commercial revolution, when we have a factory system, where we are looking the labor and the owner on the same place. Fine. Mass production of the goods, when we are looking the mass production of the surplus production of the goods, where we are looking for the society for the surplus production, for more investing or more finishing goods. Industrial capitalism, again the somehow a very important terminology, we can say. After commercialization, we are using the word like capitalism, where the money is important. The flourishness of the money in the market is completely high day-to-day life. Unemployment, it is completely finishing, or we can say declining the problems like unemployment due to the Industrial Revolution. Declining of a land aristocracy, political changes, when we are completely ended. To whom we are completely ended? The people who are looking the position of the king, and they are not going to accepting the policies like democracy. Fine. Now growth and expansion of the democracy. Democracy means what? When we are going to looking the system for the by the people, of the people, and for the people. And democracy are completely dependent on the growth and expansion. Growth, where we have a limited options, but expansion when we are try to expand our democracy with the help of the education, and with the help of the more strategical formation of the policies and the systems. Now increase the government and the involvement in the society. And how it is going to enhance day-to-day life? Increased governmental involvement in the society means when people are looking for their own rights. Fine. Increasement power of the industrial nations. Nationalization and imperialism simulated. Rise of power of business people. And in the social changes, development and growth of the societies. See, it is a very important differentiation in both the terminologies, the development and the growth. Development is completely going on. We cannot stop the development of any of the society or any of the people. Fine. Development is what? And growth is what? Growth, for example, we have a growth of the body, right? That we are our height is going to be stopped after a time. Okay. In development, if I am talking about the complete progression of the society, development, we have a individual development, we have a intellectual development, we have a economic, we have a political, and we have a social development. Fine. The next point about the social changes, improved status and the earning power of the women. Definitely society is completely not going to be finished without the participation of the women. So society is somehow giving the social changes. due to the time of the industrial revolution, somehow hand over the power to the women, and they are completely focusing themselves that how they can make themselves more aware about the society and how they can uplifted themselves, right? Increasing in the later time, population increasement, problems, economic insecurity, and science and research. Industrial revolution is completely talking about the skilled labor and the enhancement of the technology. But technology and enhancement of the labor is never ever completed without the participation of the science and the research participation, or we can say the involvement of the science and research. Because if you are looking of the industrial revolutions and the development of anything, definitely we are looking the research, or we are looking the changes in the existing society as per the time or as per the need. Fine. Results of the industrial revolution. Capitalism. The new production method of the industrial revolution required large amounts of the money, or the capital money was needed to build factories, buy machines, buy raw materials, and pay workers. And entrepreneurs, the capitalists who risked the money, controlled the production process. Fine. This economic system based on the private capital is called capitalism, right? For example, we have industries, right? We have industries, we have a production, right? We have a growth. Fine. We can say we have a development as well. We have a more money. Fine. We have a more money. Definitely the term like more money help to immerse numbers of the people in the society who will try to control the money. So who are controlling the money? The capitalist society. When they completely stock the money, you can see the terminology on the screen as well. The production and the process. The production and the process, and somehow who risked to money to controlling the money, to control the production of the process. Now, approaches. This is the numbers. This is the slide which I already introducing you numbers of the time, and it is very important to understand that what is the scope of the history, right? The scope of the history is what? When we are talking about the broadness of the society, and how the broadness of the society, because industrial revolution, when I started to giving the examples in the beginning of the lecture, I already told you that industrial revolution is completely dependent on each other. And how it is dependent on each other? It is completely dependent on the each other when you are talking about what? When you are talking about the interdisciplinary approach. You cannot survive the revolution. Why we want revolution? Because we are not very much satisfied with the existing society, right? So society needs the re-evaluation of anything. When we started to giving the example of re-evaluation or re-industrialization, in the beginning of the lecture, when I'll giving the example of the industrial revolution, I already explained you that how the industrial revolution is completely dependent on each other. We cannot survive without, we cannot imagine industrialization without society, without economy, without the participation of the labor, without the improvement of the existing society, without the improving the structure of the political society. So why we are needy? Why we are looking for the scope of the history? Because we are looking the broadness of the history. Because industrial revolution is completely started in 19th century, and the scope of the history showing the dependency on the each other, and how the dependency on the each other when the industrial revolution completely impacted the Indian society, and how the Indian society is completely impacted when we have an introduction of the introduction of the railways by the British Crown. And in we can see the techniques of two or more other disciplines of the historical research, a historian's perspective. When we are looking of the perspective, it is very important to understand the perspective that how the industrial revolution completely impacted the social history, the economic history when we are looking for the equality or fulfillment of the basic needs, and the religious history when already giving the example of Protestants and the Catholic Church. We have another example of cultural history when we are looking for the diversity, and we have administration history and political history when we are looking to end up the power of the aristocracy, and we have a very good example of the social, economic, cultural, political industrial revolution when we are looking for the equality and we are looking the upliftment of the people who are looking for their own basic needs. Fine. So this is all about the session, everyone. I would like to end up the session here only, and I'll try to finish this topic tomorrow as well. So don't forget to join me tomorrow at sharp 9 a.m. in the morning. I'll try to give the same topic, the same explanation with the same topic. Fine. Thank you so much for joining me, everyone. We will meet tomorrow at sharp 9 a.m. now.